Yo, what's going on? I appreciate everybody tuning in. This is going to be an interesting video because we're going to talk a little bit about money. We're going to talk a little bit about law. Y'all already know what it is. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, like this video, hit the bell notification. Over here, we're talking about finances, attorney reactions, all of that good stuff in between current events. But we do try to wrap it back to the bag, to the bread, to the money, because hey, everybody got to learn how to manage money, whether you broke, whether you rich, whether you come from a affluent background or not. That's something that everybody has to learn how to navigate or should learn how to navigate. I'm Marcus, the debt free dad. A disclaimer, I'm a licensed attorney, not your attorney, so this isn't legal or financial advice. Just letting y'all know what's going on in the household of the debt free dad. Before we get started, though, I gotta say this. I got on my progressive lenses, so I'm officially old. I'm officially old, but I was boosted because when I went down in the kitchen today to throw down, cook up, I was able to see all the ingredients and the directions and everything, and your boy wasn't feeling blind. And unlike the the old bifocals I remember seeing older people with, at least they ain't got the line in them. I was real apprehensive about the line, but the line isn't there, so you probably won't know how blind I was because the line isn't there. Now, anyway, we're going to talk about some celebrity news where a boxer made what I don't know. I think that boxers, for some reason, feel like going to jail for something is like a rite of passage into becoming a dope ass fighter, which is completely not true. But we're going to talk about the lightweight champion, Devin Haney. Now, I don't know if y'all boxing fans or not, but hey, DFD is a boxing aficionado. I love the sport. I love the sweet science. I used to box back in the day till I got caught, and I was like, you know what? Your boy about to start hooping. But anyway, he's the lightweight champion, 28-0. I mean, the guy's raw. If you Google him and you want to see somebody who has a combination of talent, power, speed, all of that good stuff, this dude, I don't know. When you talk about best pound for pound fighters, he might be he might be in the top three or four. And you talk about best pound for pound fighters. Arguably could be the second, number two or three, but definitely in the top four for certain. Well, some drama popped off with Devin Haney this past week, and we're going to talk a little about it from a money standpoint and from a legal standpoint. Now, boxing is a hard ass sport, okay? I wouldn't call him a friend, a colleague who I know who practices law and was a professional boxer. And I'm not talking about like 138 pounds. Like this dude was like 180, welterweight, light heavyweight fighter. And he would practice law in the day and box like part time. But he was a professional and he had hands. I think he was like, I don't know, I think he maybe had like one loss to like 10 wins or something. It was crazy. This dude was nice, but that's a dangerous career because when you box, you are one punch away from your life being over, from not being able to function properly, from not having a good ass memory. But it was interesting. Luckily, this gentleman who was an attorney and a boxer decided to focus on one as opposed to the other. Like, and the running joke we used to make, like, dude, you're gonna get hit so hard, you're not gonna know if you're in court for a criminal or a civil trial. Now, that's an attorney joke, but he elected to, put the boxing thing aside and focus solely on the law. But it's definitely a risky profession. I had another partner who was a heavyweight who I grew up with in the neighborhood, and I mean, it's just one of those things where you take a lot of risks. So let's go ahead and pull up the article so we can find out what happened to the light heavyweight champ. What is the allegations or facts of what's going on? And then we're going to talk about it because it was a lot of stupid things that went on, but let's read the article first. Then I'll dive into the stupidity subsequently. All right. Devin Haney arrested on gun charge after LA traffic stop released on 35,000 bail. Yo, Before I even read this article, yo, shout out to my eye doctor because like I ain't gotta be up on the screen or nothing. All right. So now we're gonna dive into it. Light lightweight boxing champion Devin Haney was arrested Thursday in Los Angeles, according to TMZ Sports. TMZ get all the news mad fast. TMZ Sports reported police pulled over a car in which Haney was riding as a passenger for failing to signal and making an unsafe lane change. Officers subsequently discovered a semi automatic handgun under the driver's seat, of which no one took ownership. That's common. Everybody like it ain't mine. Because Haney is the registered owner of the car, he was placed into custody on a charge of felony possession of a concealed weapon. The 24-year-old was released Thursday morning on $35,000 bail. In the ring, Haney reinforced his reputation as one of the top pound for pound boxers in the world when he won a unanimous decision over Vitaly Lomachenko, who was nice, in May, and the victory ran his record to a perfect 30-0. My bad, dog. I cheated you out of two wins. On Wednesday, Haney addressed a challenge from Tefaloma Lopez, who initially said he was retiring after beating Josh Taylor. Blah, 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 blah. That's boxing stuff. Right now, I don't really care too much about boxing stuff. We're going to talk about what was going on with this charge that he got. All right, now first things first, going to prison is not a rite of passage for anybody. So I don't know why boxers always feel the need to do something stupid to end up or get accused of doing something stupid to end up being thrown in custody, but that's definitely not the way to go. The next thing I wanted to pull up, because when somebody do something stupid, we got to take a look to see if they fumbled the bag, if they are in jeopardy of fumbling the bag. So the other thing we got to take a look at real quick is, hey, how much is this dude worth? Now, I'm saying they show. I always double what I see when I look up somebody's celebrity net worth because those numbers never right. But they have him. This is of 2023, worth $6 million. His salary, his last fight was $2.8 million. And this was updated in May of 2023. I'd like to think that he's definitely has a net worth more than $6 million. $6 million is like life changing money for like me, you, or us normal folks out there. But for somebody who I typed in Devin Haney buying jewelry, you see all these videos, these big ass chains, grills, all that type of stuff. For somebody who spent like that, $6 million, $6 million is absolutely nothing. But let's round it up and give him the benefit of the doubt. We're gonna say that this brother is worth $12 million. Okay, so now that we know just kind of a roundabout guesstimate of what he's holding and how is that life changing money, because I mean I seen so many videos of this dude just buying Rolexes and completely ruining the value because putting a bunch of aftermarket diamonds in them and everything. But I just didn't want to play them because YouTube be wilding out when you play certain videos from other people. But let's talk about the legal nuances of this. Okay, first things first. You're in California, in Los Angeles. You're a celebrity. It's not hard to get a concealed carry permit. Let's just throw that out there, okay? It used to be in Los Angeles, it's kind of difficult, but there have been studies done in Los Angeles and New York that have shown that law enforcement were more apt to give celebrities concealed carry permits because, I mean, one, they do have a potential higher risk because they're public figures, but two, these guys also were bragging law enforcement, were bribing, were bribing law enforcement to get the concealed carry permits that they normally wouldn't grant for other people. But first and foremost, because of who you are in and of itself, you should be able to get a concealed carry permit in Los Angeles relatively easy as a celebrity. Let's just throw that out there. Now, I don't know. I didn't take a look into this guy's background. I don't know if he has any prior convictions or felony convictions or DV, domestic violence convictions, that would exclude him from being a law-abiding concealed carrier. But if he doesn't have any of those exclusions, he definitely can get a permit. Now, the facts are leaving the club. There's always leaving the club. Just bring the club to your house when you got that type of money. But the facts are leaving the club. He's a passenger in the vehicle. Semi-automatic gun is up underneath the seat. Now, I've seen some reports that said he was with his security in the vehicle. They get pulled over for failing to turn on a turn signal and making an unsafe lane change, which, if that's the case, is a valid reason to pull someone over. When can an officer pull someone over? Well, if they have reasonable suspicion that criminal activity is afoot, or if they actually see someone commit a crime. Unauthorized or unsafe lane change, failing to yield a signal, that's a legitimate reason to pull someone over. Now, here's where it gets interesting, and here where it gets, I'm not going to say kind of stupid, but if you know the basics of what officers can and can't do in a traffic, can and can't do in a traffic stop, it could have been something to easily avoid what was going on. Let me see what my guy Wolverine, my brother, got to say. I never understand people that carry illegal guns because if you use it, you're going to jail. It don't make sense to me. I mean, I can understand it. It's a safety thing. I don't understand how you have that much money and you have an illegal gun. Because even if he has a 58 felonies and he can't get a firearm permit to carry it himself, you buying all that jewelry and crap. Just go ahead and have your armed security with you all the time, 24/7. It shouldn't even get to a point where they pulling us over and I'm like, I don't know who gun it is, officer friendly, and everybody just sitting around looking stupid. And so they get pulled over for failing to turn on a turn signal and for an unsafe lane change, which is on the up and up. I've seen a bunch of comments where everybody like, oh, they can challenge they can challenge the fact that they should have never been stopped in the first place. Get out of here. People get pulled over for not turning on their turn signal or failing to turn on their turn signal. Here's where it gets interesting and a lack of common sense. I'm not even gonna say of knowing the law, but a lack of common sense. Okay. In some states, if you are a licensed concealed carrier, when you get stopped by law enforcement for anything, you have a mandatory disclosure. So if I'm riding through, DC somewhere and the cops pull me over for failing to turn on my signal, as soon as they pull me over, I got to say, hey, officers, I'm a licensed concealed carrier. I have my firearm on my right side hip. Got to keep my hands up here because you know how that could go. But in some states, you're required to say it. Now, if I ride right across the street, Virginia, you don't have a requirement to say anything. Officer pull you over for something traffic, some minor traffic stop. You get your ticket, keep it moving. You don't have to open your mouth. That being said, what do you think these guys did when they got pulled over for a minor traffic stop? Exactly. What did they do? They opened their mouth and officers, there's a gun in the car. Now, I'm not the smartest person in the world, okay? But if I know I'm not supposed to have the firearm, I'm not bringing it up. I don't even know why it was something that would be brought up if they were stopped for a minor traffic stop. Most officers, I'm not going to say all, but most officers, they'll ask the same stupid question, you know why I stopped you? And then you give the response, I don't know why you stopped me, because you just wanted to bother somebody. You get a response, and then they'll say, oh, you were going this much over the speed limit, or you failed to do this. So most officers doing their little stupid introductory conversation, they'll tell you the reason that they're pulling you over. If they're telling you a reason that's a minor traffic stop, just sit down, shut up. If you don't have any warrants and your license and registrations is good, if you be quiet, you will probably go on about your business. That's just, in most cases. But he got money to hire security. At least he should. If he himself have to carry a gun illegally, and that he need to make some lifestyle changes. I agree, but some people just like the gun life. They like to look like tough guys. So they get pulled over for a minor traffic citation. Once they get pulled over, they immediately disclose, officers, there's a gun in the car. Now, the officers, this is the exact officer's reaction. He didn't say, officer, I'm a concealed carrier, legal concealed carrier and I have a firearm in the car. So, because I saw videos and everybody was like, "Oh, they should have never been able to get in the car." Like, let's just when can an officer get in your car and conduct a search? One, if you give them permission to, and I would guarantee you that they said there's a gun in the car, feel free to search. But one, if you give them permission to, or two, if they have probable cause to conduct the search. So the question is, did they have probable cause to conduct the search? Absolutely, yes. When was that probable cause established to conduct that search in the vehicle? When this person said, there's a gun in the car, and he didn't preface it by saying, I'm a legal concealed carrier. Soon as he said, officer, there's a gun in the car, the officer know, like, okay, this has moved from a minor traffic citation to a felony stop where firearms involved. So now he could get in that car, he could search that car for weapons and whatever he may find during that search is fair game. Okay, so they find he's in the passenger seat. Devin Haney's in the rear seat. I mean, the gun is under one of the seats in the front. I can't recall if it was the passenger or driver vehicle. Nobody in the car is admitting ownership of the gun, and this is a common tactic that are used when there's a possession of anything charge. It could be possession of marijuana, fentanyl, gun. It's a common tactic. If there's a bunch of people in the car, everybody say it's not mine, it's not mine, it's not mine. Let me check out this comment real quick. It says, and that tough guy get you in jail or dead. But yeah, box, make your paper and enjoy your life. But I guess it's easier said than done. Hey man, nobody want to look soft, man. Nobody want to look like a George Foreman the third or the fifth, whatever son that was, a Judge Foreman who was like boxing and had a master's degree. That's not cool. That's not cool. It's much better to be hardcore. Try to look like athletes want to be rappers, rappers want to be athletes, and all of them want to be street guys. I don't know why. That's just kind of the order of operation for those professions. And street guys want to be both. Most street guys like, man, I don't want to be in the street no more. I want to be a rapper or an athlete. But the athletes want to be the street guys, and the rappers want to be the street guys. It's really weird. But that's how the cops were able to get into the vehicle because one, the stop was lawful because they were stopping them for a minor traffic citation. Once they pulled them over and the guys admitted to a firearm being in the car, the cop knew by the way they said it, they weren't concealed carriers. So it went from a minor traffic stop to a felony stop that involves guns and ammo. The officer had probable cause to go into the vehicle and conduct a search. Now, everybody in the car, and I seen this all the time. It used to be hilarious. It's not my weed, Attorney Marcus. It's not my cocaine attorney. It wasn't my gun. So everybody denies that it belongs to them. And you know what happened? You get 3 or 4 people who were all in the car, all charged with possession of the same firearm. Somebody gonna figure out. They're gonna figure out and get to the bottom of whose firearm it is. You know, I guess the running theory is that if no one admits to it, then they can't prove that it's possessions of anyone's, which I guess in theory is true, but not necessarily. One, because people tell all the damn time. If a crime get committed, people are telling. They snitching, they dropping a dime. All that snitches get stitches, stop snitching. Hey, nah, all that's BS. They telling like hell, okay? That's number one. But there's 2 types of legal definitions for possession. Actual possession, which is exactly what it's called, actual possession. The gun was in your hip when they took you out the car, patted you down, and searched you. The gun was physically on your person. It was in your purse. It was in your backpack. You was holding it. I'd rather be like Big George and have grease dripping grill than be a rich than a hot boy. I know all this technology, and they can't come up with a better way to catch the grease out of a George Foreman fryer, griller, whatever. It should be like some way that the grease could just dissipate and go into the ozone layer without harming the environment. But that's a whole nother story. All right. So actual possession means it's yours. It was on your person. You was in control of it. When they have these situations where everybody say, "Oh man, it's not mine. I didn't have it. I don't know whose gun or drugs or whatever it is. I don't know who that belongs to, Mr. Officer." Typically, they use a concept called constructive possession. In short, constructive possession, it falls on whoever is in control of the instrumentality where the gun, the drugs, the contraband is contained. So if the cops ran up in my vehicle, I'm sitting in the car with me and three other people, is a gun in the car underneath the seat, nobody touched it, and I'm like, oh man, that's not my gun. I don't know who gun it is. I could be in the back seat chilling. Well, who's in control of the instrumentality where the gun was found? If it's my car, my registration, more likely than that, that's going to be my gun, and that's going to be where they placed that charge at. So the reason they charged him was constructive possession. They said it was his vehicle. He was the person who was the registered owner in the vehicle. Now his attorneys is mad confident though. I saw his attorneys; they was like, "Oh, this was a misunderstanding, and it's all gonna get resolved at court." It's all gonna get resolved at court, all right, with a plea agreement. Like, come on, how can you? This isn't a misunderstanding. This is just what I like to refer to as stupidity. And so the next question is: now that we know what happened, the legal nuances of what happened, I guess the question would be: eh, did he jeopardize making his income? The answer to that, in short, well, is a yes and no answer. The best answer is no. He's a boxer. I mean, if anybody can rebound from getting a gun charge, is a boxer or a rapper. Yeah, like, and we'll find out if John Morant get a gun charge ever. But we'll see if an athlete. I don't think an athlete could come back from a. Nah, Gilbert Arenas didn't come back from his gun charge. But if you're a boxer or a rapper, a gun charge is not going to jam up your ability to make paper. It's not going to jam up your ability to make money. Now, what will it jam up? It will jam up your ability to make money outside of boxing. Just think about it. When was the last time you seen like a boxer on a commercial for anything? Like, I want to say Manny Pacquiao and probably like Roy Jones, maybe Canelo Alvarez for some sponsorship deal, but very rarely do you see boxers with sponsorship deals. Back in the day when Floyd Mayweather was always at the top of the list for the highest paid athlete of the year, they would have a breakdown. Who's the highest paid athlete? And then next to that name, it would be two columns: how much money they made from their sport and how much money they made from endorsements. Floyd would always be number one, and 100% of his money he made that year was from sports. The number two, three, four, five person on the list, it was like Serena Williams, Tiger Woods, Anya Kournikova, I think, was on the list. The money they made from endorsements far exceeded what they made from their sports. But with boxers, boxers just typically don't have backgrounds and personalities that make it friendly for them to be on the Wheaties box. Like, do you really want to eat Wheaties if Adrian Broner is on the cover? Like, it probably tastes all salty, like tears. Like, but boxers typically don't have a background that's conducive with marketing goods. That's why you don't see them. So they have to make all of their money from fighting. Maybe they have some other deals in real estate or something like that. But you're just not going to see Floyd Mayweather on a Wheaties box. You're not going to see Devin Haney doing a Hanes advertisement because, man, what? No, these guys are normally braggadocious, loud, kind of give an obnoxious aura, whether it's just a hyper fight or not. Most times they always got some gun charge, sexual assault charge, something in their past that just don't make them, like, really. It just doesn't make them conducive to being on the Honey Nut Cheerios box next to the B. So that's why you'll never see boxers up there, right? I don't want them Broner flakes. Hey man, AB back. His last fight, that dude fought at like it was like a Waffle House. I saw his last fight. I was like, man, this dude fighting in a Pep Boys. It looked like an auto repair center. It was pretty terrible. But that's the thing with boxing. You got to make the money while you can. Devin Haney is 24, 25 years old. And I know he don't want to be like my favorite fighter of all time, Roy Jones. Man, Roy Jones was great. But it's embarrassing to see this dude go out there at 50 plus years old, still fighting to get money and get winning the fight and getting knocked out the last 2 seconds of the fight, looking like a complete ridiculous. I mean, that's something you don't want to do. Boxers have a very everybody has a finite amount of time that they can work. I don't care if you're an attorney, a doctor, a trash man, a boxer, a football player, but athletes, that window is really, really short. You're talking about if you're a boxer and you're at your peak, you probably got from 21, most boxers go pro at 20, 21. So let's say you got from 20 to 29 to 30 are probably your peak years as a boxer. Everybody's not Floyd Mayweather, Pacquiao. They're going to be doing it until they 40 or what have you. So they got a short amount of time to make enough money that can sustain them for the rest of their life. So doing dumbass things like this, getting dumbass gun charges is something that you should definitely avoid. The other thing is like, I, attorneys are we're only needed when people are in trouble. But if you have income like these celebrities do, you should just have somebody with that you bounce all of your ideas on, no matter how stupid or simple they are. Hey, I'm about to go to the club and I'm gonna take this firearm. What do you think I should do? Probably not take the firearm. How about you take your security instead? How about you use the app that they got in Los Angeles where you can request the driver and the driver is armed like a armed Uber service or something. There's a bunch of ideas you can do besides putting the gun under the seat. The other thing is, I mean, just honest, like it don't even make sense to put the gun under the seat anyway. Like if you got the gun under the seat and somebody do come jack you, you're not gonna get to the gun anyway. This ain't like you can get to the gun, but you know what's going to happen? You're going to look like Kane's cousin on Menace to Society when he tried to get his gun from under the seat. You're going to get shot because you can't pull a gun when someone has the drop on you. So if I'm trying to reach under my seat and get my gun out and think I'm going to reach out, get my gun out and shoot somebody who got a gun on me, no, that's going to end terrible. But they don't know these things because they're just carrying guns. This dude probably never even go to the range. He probably don't even know how to draw a gun. He probably don't know what indexing the firearm is to reload it. It's just a complete catastrophe. It's extremely stupid. So Devin Haney, if you're out there and this video come across, feel free to reach out to DFD. I won't hit you over the head too bad. Nice little retainer. And whenever you're thinking about doing something, you feel free to hit me up. I make sure you got my info on speed dial. And hey, I make sure that I give you good, salient, smart advice. Now, if you listen to that advice, that's up to you. All I could do is give it. But it's just a terrible thing to see a lot of these young brothers go through the same thing. I mean, I was just listening to, I didn't notice how good of a hip hop artist Young Thug was. I used to actually laugh at Young Thug, like, this dude music is terrible. But what have I come to realize since he's been locked up on RICO charges? I was like, man, this dude is actually a pretty talented artist. I actually like his music. Too bad this may be his last new album he ever had, unless they all come from a prison phone. But it's sad that people got to get success and still feel the need to have some tie to street life or being hardcore or being goons. Like, yo, you already got the money. You did what everybody wants to do. Everybody who grows up in not the greatest situation, they want to improve their situation. When you improve the situation, don't do stupid stuff that could impair your ability to provide and keep you where you're at. That's just my thing. That would be like DFD, like, man, yo, you know what? I'm gonna tell y'all a story, right? This is how you have to be once you start doing something positive, right? I remember when I passed the bar exam, one of my partners didn't pass the bar exam. So he ended up taking it 4 or 5 months later or something to that effect. Now he goes to take this bar exam, he passes it. So he's having a big party because he passed the bar exam. So this is my guy. So I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go party with you. So I tell Mrs. DFD, hey, Mrs. DFD, I'm hanging out with my man. He passed the bar exam. His folks having a big party. Now his folks are just kind of some big shots. We'll just leave it at that. So they had like we met at a spot. They had a party bus, and like the party bus would take us to club after club after club. And I'm not gonna say that the party bus wasn't wild, but the party bus was wild. Okay, I literally got home and I remember telling my wife, I was like, you know what? I'm not hanging out with those guys no more because they a little too wild for me. I can't risk it. I can't put myself in a compromising position where I'm risking something and could potentially damage my livelihood or my ability to provide for my family. That's just kind of me. Everybody needs to take that mantra. So y'all young guys out there making millions, the new guy who just graduated from HVAC school, the person who's about to take the bar exam, looking forward to becoming an attorney. Yo, don't hang out with people who has less to lose than you. Don't do stupid stuff that could jeopardize your ability to make an income. Like those are, if you could adjust with those two rules, if you could follow those two rules, you'll probably be okay, and you could potentially avoid a lot of stupid ass predicaments. That's it for this video. Just wanted to talk about this guy, Devin Haney. Hey, I wish him much success. He's a great boxer, but it's going to be interesting to see how this felony gun charge play out. And I'm going to tell you, one of the two worst places to catch a felony gun charge is New York and Los Angeles. Oh my goodness. Diddy ruined it for everybody. Back in the day when Diddy and Shine was in the club and that gun charge came out, you could have a gun in New York, get caught with it, and actually be out the next day. Like it wasn't really that big of a deal. It wasn't necessarily a felony. But after that whole Diddy Bad Boy Shine gun club thing, they actually referred to their new gun laws as the Diddy rule. Essentially, if you got a firearm that's loaded in New York City, they are gonna throw the book at you. They're gonna throw the book at you. So it's, I don't know. I would say because of who he is, and I just don't recall offhand. I haven't checked, but I don't recall him having any prior contact with the criminal justice system. He might be able to finesse his way into some misdemeanor gun possession charge or something like that. I wouldn't be shocked if that happened. But for most average folks, if you get a gun charge in Los Angeles, oh man, God bless you, because that's hard to do because they real strict on their gun laws out there, and a lot of times they're gonna try to make you eat that felony. They maybe give you a deal where you don't go into custody, but they're gonna put that felony on your record. And for us normal folks who don't box, you got that felony on the record, is gonna jam up your ability to make an income for a lot of people. Now that's it for this video. I appreciate everybody who tuned in. Y'all take care. Have a good one. Peace.